3050 SR Lucio player on Dorado. I'm really excited to see what kind of gameplay we get out of this. I gotta admit, I've been stuck in the low diamond area for some time. It's an interesting SR to be around. You got a lot of people playing with bad habits. Bad habits that they've developed from playing in platinum and lower, and they finally hit diamond, and now they're playing against some better competition. You've got the good players in there. It's a bit of a mix. It's all good talent once you hit diamond, usually. It's just sometimes there's some bad habits that have been picked up from when they were lower. So I'm excited to see what we get here. And as you can see on the screen, if you want to submit a video, I've got all the requirements up on the screen. I'm taking any and all videos, any SR, any heroes right now. Right now I'm backlogged about 3 or 4 videos that I have to do after this one. So if you do submit one, just know that there's going to be a little bit of a wait. I'm going to try to get at least 2 to 3, including this one, done this weekend and try to catch up a little bit. And then we'll kind of see how it goes and what I get for submissions from there. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it. All right. So just staying at this screen for a moment. You have the slight advantage. That's awesome. So we have quite a few bronze stars. So we've got a pretty experienced team. And they've got 2 silver bordered, and then also a 5-star, and then a 3, 2, and a 1. So this is a pretty experienced game for the most part, and I would question if Revolution is a Smurf. Could be. Hard to say, though. He does have a star, so maybe not. He could just be new. Alright, well, let's see what we get here. Let's start her up.
Yo guys, what up? How you doing?
Hello.
Yeah, nice.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
I like that the team's talking. That's always a good start. Stealth mode asked for team chat, which is always good.
Yeah. I can shoot, but I can't alt. Like time the alts.
Yeah. See, because I know him a bit, but I'm not the best. Fine.
So right now you guys are talking about switching to a Reinhardt. Let me see if you pause it at what your team comp is at here.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
What the hell is going on? Like 3 lobbies in a row with nice people. What the fuck? Come on.
Actually, 3
It's
lobbies
always a
in
good
row.
feeling when you get 3 games in a row with nice people.
Being
haven't
sensible
had-
helps if you want to win.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have a widow?
Oh,
Yeah, there we go.
shoot,
Yeah.
I missed it. Alright, let me rewind. Oh, did I go too far?
Yeah. See, because I know him a bit, but I'm not the best. Fine.
And that comp, I had nothing to
Shoot.
do with Hansel here. No comp, so I just go for widow instead for the picks. If it's not working, I'll switch it.
I'm gonna catch this.
Yeah, sure.
Come on.
No problem.
Show me your team comp, buddy.
3 lobbies in a row
I know
with
it's
nice
coming.
people. What the fuck?
I know you got it.
Come on.
Actually, 3 lobbies in a row.
Really?
Being
haven't
sensible
had-
helps if you want to win.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have a widow?
There it is. Alright, so what do we got here? So Lucio and Mercy, that's okay for healing. I'm alright with that. It sets you guys up for a little bit of a damage disadvantage. The Widow I would question. If she can get an early pick, so be it. You know, you can live with that, but it's not really the greatest pick for the first point. Although, if the Widow bounces to the right side and doesn't work the middle or the left, it can work. So we'll have to see what they do, assuming they stick on Widow. The tank composition is okay. From a bad, good, or great, I'd give it a good. If the Diva dives, the Zarya can give a bubble to D.Va. And that can work out. And I always encourage having a diving tank, especially on the first point of Dorado. Even the second point, too. After that, you can get away with it a little bit. But on the first point, I think it's vital to have a diving tank. D.Va or Winston, I'd say, is vital. So you got the D.Va. The Zarya can kind of support the D.Va. And the Zarya can kind of provide a bit of shielding for this team. If you had a Reinhardt, the 76, and the Lucio and the Mercy would be able to take advantage, and assuming the D.Va switch and the Zarya could, you know, and then this guy could go a diving tank. But, of course, I'm sure that's probably not going to happen, because widows are going to widow, right? So let's see what we get here. Uh-oh, we're Torbjorning now. Wait a minute. Are you memeing? You are.
That's always how they say it.
Okay,
You dirty, dirty Torb. Alright, back on Lucio. Oh, we have a Reinhardt now. Who switched? The D.Va switched.
Well, you can't be worse than I am.
And now we have a Roadhog.
But you won't screw up.
Okay, so now we've got a Reinhardt Roadhog combination. Okay, this team's switching a lot. So forget everything I just said. Oh, I think I know what you're going to do. You're going to try to boop a couple of them off, aren't you? Oh, that's nice. I like that. The only thing I would have said is try to call that out so your team might be able to get a pick off of that. Because if you could have picked off that Reinhardt there, that would have put that team at a major disadvantage. But I like that otherwise. That's a good move. I've done that before.
Okay, far away.
We have a Genji now, so.
Okay, you're kind of spamming the Zarya bubble. You got to watch out for that. Don't be the one to charge the Zarya bubble unless the situation calls for it. Let me pause that there. If the situation calls for it, let me get that big blast off the screen. If the situation calls for it, what do I mean when I say that? If it's only Zarya or maybe only Zarya and one other person, the situation might call to break the bubble. And when I say Zarya and one other person, I'm assuming it's you and multiple teammates. You and 3 teammates. You and 4. The whole team. Basically, when Zarya's bubble's down, it's not going to make a difference when her charge is fully up. In a case like that, you were raising her charge, and it would have mattered. It makes a difference at that point. One, because she can earn her ult faster. She can burn the shield down faster. She can kill people faster. It's going to make your job as a healer harder. So you got to look out for that. You can still break Reinhardt's shield without hitting the Zarya bubble. So just be aware of that. Right now you're a little bit out of position, but you speed bursted back to get in, and then you switched to the heal. So you kind of fixed your mistake before it really became a major one. Oh, you got picked. Zenyatta got you. Ooh, Widow. I don't like what Widow's doing.
That's what I mean.
I would like to see Widow kind of standing above the choke and seeing if she could get a healer pick or something. Or she could flank around left. But, alright, back to you here. So right now, you're overextended a little bit. I know you're hard to hit and your team's almost back. You could have probably escorted them back with the speed song rather than kind of just getting a few pot shots off. But
Oh my god!
in the end, no harm really done. It's more of a nitpick. Uh-oh. You kind of set up a good target for the Genji. You clumped up the healers. Is Mercy going to get away?
Just regroup.
Okay, looks like Mercy got away, so kind of got away from that. It's unfortunate he got you and only you.
Nice, way of pushing it.
Good job getting back to the team.
Zenyatta on the right.
Yeah, he's in the house, he's in the house.
I would have amped it up there rather than diving on the Zarya. Although, it may work out. Okay, so you amped it up here.
Oh, nice.
Good job doing the break it down. Always good to break it down when the 76 is about to ult. That really...
Awesome.
I think worst case scenario, if you break it down when a 76 ults, worst case scenario is he's going to get 1 kill. And honestly, and 76's ult is one of the strongest in the game, right? So if you can limit that to 1 kill or 0 kills, which is what you did, he got 0 kills from that. That's perfect. Lucio's ult, it's meant to cancel out other ults, right? And it's also, there's two things really. It's meant to cancel out other teams' ults, like a Zarya's Graviton or a 76 ulting, maybe a Genji ult, maybe. The other instance for when to do a Lucio ult is to initiate attack. That takes a lot of voice communication, though. Good job being a target for the Mercy to fall back. The team was really overextended there. You got him back in the position again. Hopefully, oh boy. Gotta watch your health a little bit. You were a little overextended given your hit points, I think.
Thank you,
Okay,
Lucio.
you're escorting the Reinhardt back. Now,
So I supposed to fall back?
now Roadhog died, and I think he just spawned.
Just regroup.
Let's get the Genji. Let's get
Don't
the
be overly concerned with escorting a Reinhardt back, especially if there's a Roadhog coming right after him. The Roadhog needs the escort more than the Reinhardt, because the Reinhardt can charge. And on top of that, you were escorting the Reinhardt into nothing. You know, your team was dying. It would have been, you were just encouraging a stagger at that point. If I were you, let the Reinhardt stick around. If he really needs to push up, he can charge. Wait for the Roadhog and speed boost him. The Roadhog needs it more than the Reinhardt. But in a case like that specific one, probably just best to hold back, wait for everybody to spawn, and then push in at 6 again.
I need heals. I need heals.
Yeah, you ran out of time. I think you were trying to go for the headshots. Good job staying in the Winston bubble. The Winston did you a big favor with that one. The Reinhardt's in trouble. He's overextended. He died. Yeah, this is a lost fight. This is time to fall back. The Winston and Hanzo are both overextended at this point. You should be on the microphone saying fall back and let's regroup. Now we've got Reaper and now. Okay, so now it's a 4. What is this now? Reaper gets a pick. I can't tell how many of the enemies here.
Nice. Soldiers going
Okay,
to the top.
there's another pick. Okay, I think the fight's going in your guys' favor now.
Just get it through the choke here.
What are we doing?
Nice.
I think you could have gotten away without. Okay, I think this is one of the bad habits I was talking about in the beginning of the game. Let's go back a bit. Oh, where was it? I think it was about to be right here.
Nice. Soldiers going to the top.
I think it's coming.
Just get it through the choke here.
Okay. Let's pause it right there. Right. So, the Zarya ulted you. When we saw the Zarya... Shoot, I didn't want to do that. Sorry.
Just get it through the choke here.
Alright, let me get it back here. Okay, let's pause here for a second. Okay, so... I think that's Reinhardt. So Reinhardt's off over here. Zarya's over this way somewhere, right? We didn't see anybody else with the Zarya that I can recall. Now, if we... Okay. Oh, so actually, okay, I was wrong. The Zarya was behind you. So the Zarya's right here, and we can see she's alone. She has no follow-up. She does have a bit of a charge. This is looking like probably like about a 40% charge if I had to guess. But here's your team. You got 1, 2... There's a third guy over there. You're number 4. Number 5's off this way somewhere. So this is your team. There's no follow-up. I don't think you needed to do a break it down here. I think you could have gotten away with an amp it up. And you have it. You do have it. So let's see how this plays out here.
Nice ult.
Okay, so she had a Zenyatta with her.
We have one. Where the fuck am I missing? That-
Now the Genji tried to follow up, but he was really behind. So that's a prime example of if you play Zarya, make sure your team's there to follow up, because now that team kind of put themselves in a bad position. Although if you look at the kill feed, they've got quite a few kills. Let's see how this plays out.
You sure?
See, if you could have broke it down a little bit later, you might have been able to prevent some of those kills.
Sneak behind. Ah, never mind.
You got this, guys. You got this. I trust you.
But I know it's a bad habit to. Well, it's not even necessarily a bad habit, but it's a habit to have when you get stuck in a graviton, to break it down right away if you have it. But you don't always have to do that. What I like to do is try to survey the situation, amp it up. I amp it up immediately when I'm in a graviton. That I do without question. But I try to take a quick look around to see what kind of a follow-up there's going to be, if it's worth doing a break it down for. Because sometimes I'm the only one in there. Sometimes it wouldn't matter. Maybe there's a Hanzo ult coming and break it down's not going to fix that anyway. And in a case like that, I think you would have had enough time to just get a quick survey of the situation and maybe save it. But in your defense, you did a very good job of building up another ult. I think by the time you're going to need it, you're going to have it. Okay, so your team's a little bit in trouble. You got left pushing the cart on your own, which is good that you were doing that. Somebody's got to stay on that thing. And it always seems like the Lucios or just support in general. See, alright, there's a good example. See, you kind of surveyed the situation. You said, no, I'm going to save that, break it down, and that's exactly what you did. So that's a good job. So that tells me basically the advice I was giving you, you already kind of know. You just maybe had a little bit of a bad habit there. But that's alright. So, mistakes get made sometimes, and the good thing about a Lucio ult is you get it back pretty quickly, especially if you've got good aim and you can land some headshots. So, your team comp has changed up quite a bit. So now we've got a Winston, a Diva, a Reaper, I saw Soldier, Mercy, and Lucio. So it looks like we're kind of a little bit more of a dive comp now. Dive's pretty good for the last half of Dorado. So I'm kind of curious how this is going to play out. Okay, so you did the break it down to initiate the attack. I'm not sure if you said to the team you were going to do that. You might want to just communicate with them, communicate that to them next time. You had the speed song on when you did the break it down, which is very good because that helps kind of push them into position. Alright, so we're pushing in overtime now, so now everybody's got to stay on the cart. You're wall riding to pick up some speed to get back in time. That's good. Your team's winning the fight right now. Nice little boop to kind of keep them off the point.
Press. Rock low, rock low. Line low.
Ooh, gotta watch out for them Reinhardt swings. Gotta keep your distance from Reinhardt. I've always had a little bit of a bad habit myself of kind of gluing myself to attacking Reinhardts and trying to boop them around and hit them and all that. But yeah, those Reinhardt swings, you'll get squished. I've been trying to get myself in a little bit better of a habit of keeping distance from Reinhardt. Wasted boop. Did that a little preemptively, although it didn't cost you anything, so that's alright. Just being a little nitpicky. So that's good though. You got all 3 points. You did it in overtime. So as long as the other team doesn't do it before the clock runs out, I'd say you're in real good shape.
That was intense.
Indeed.
If I suck again, I will
Can you
switch.
go around this time?
Alright, what do we got here? Oh, somebody said... Okay, let's stop here, let's look. So we're playing defense. The healer combination is okay. I think... Okay, so you got the double hit scan. So you're expecting Pharah. That's all right. I'm definitely okay with that, especially if both of them can aim. They're in a trio. I'm assuming they both trust each other, that they can both hit duo hit scan and provide the DPS. So I'm all right with that. The Rhine is, in my opinion, a requirement for defense on this map. So, I mean, I'm sure everybody that listens to this has won games without having a Reinhardt, but you got to admit it makes the game a lot easier on defense in Dorado if you have a Reinhardt. Am I right? The one hero I would definitely put into question is D.Va. D.Va's short range. I'm not really sure what she's going to provide to this team comp. You don't need her to counter any kind of a Pharah. There's not really a lot of high ground for her to be jumping up to be harassing. You don't usually have a D.Va jumping backline on a defense in Dorado. I mean, yeah, obviously it can happen, but it's the one hero I would be questioning and maybe calling out, asking to switch to. If it were me, I would either say, if we're keeping to this kind of a meta of a 2-2-2, assuming that's what we're doing, or that's what we're shooting for, I would encourage Roadhog number 1, Orisa number 2, and Winston number 3, maybe switching the Orisa and the Winston around depending on what they're comfortable with. But I would definitely encourage a Roadhog here. That's me though. Let's see what you guys do.
Nice. Cool.
I mean, you guys switched around quite a bit last time, so let's see if we get any other switches here. We got
if anyone is good with Symmetra, I think she would be awesome. Nope. No Symmetra players.
At least me, not me.
I agree with him actually about the Symmetra. I love playing Symmetra on defense on this map. Not saying you should switch. However, you usually don't want to play defense and have triple support either. So, yeah. It's alright. Let's see what we get here. It's not a bad suggestion, though.
Yeah, let's try this. To do hit scan, that's very good.
Now, the thing I'm looking for, or how I would play Lucio on defense for this map, I play pretty aggressive. I'm a pretty aggressive Lucio player myself. I try to glue myself to the point, and I try to dodge and weave by using the objective as a barrier.
Okay. Get ready for him when he comes.
Yeah.
Maybe you can flash.
Excuse me, I had a bit of a sneezing attack. I had to mute the microphone. I didn't want you guys to hear it. But, so yeah, I'm always trying to, I've always got gold objective time playing Lucio. I'm always gluing myself to the point. I like what you did trying to scout to see if they were going to have a Widow or anybody up top to start picking away at people. So I'll be looking to see if you do that or not. And if you don't do that, I'll be kind of curious what you try to do. Now, that's a nice boop, keeping them off the high ground. Your McCree, was that McCree or Soldier? That must have been Soldier.
Nice. Let's go down, we have to go down.
Alright, that's good that you're keeping the D.Va off the high ground. That's letting you guys... Ooh, McCree's doing work for you right now.
Oh, good catch, man.
Reinhardt with a nice fire strike, too. Yeah, that's a team wipe, I think.
Let's return to high ground.
Don't go.
No.
Okay.
Keep the choke.
I'm gonna go high ground.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so... Alright, so there's a little indecision here. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's pause, let's talk about that. So, half your team wants to take the high ground, half your team wants to hold the choke. What's the right decision here? What I would have encouraged, retake the high ground, but be quick to fall back and drop down again. Because by the time that they come back, the cart would have been moving backwards, and it probably would have been either dead center into the choke or slightly peeking back out onto the attacker's side. So I think if you tried to take the high ground because you have 2 hit scans, would have been the better choice. I'm not exactly sure which way you guys picked it. It looked like you picked the choke, but I'm not sure where everybody else is just yet. But taking the high ground, but being quick to fall back to hold the choke is what I would have encouraged your team to do. Let's see what you guys actually do, though.
Stay on the McCree. Oh shit.
Okay, so it actually looks like you guys kind of got split up a little bit. And you got hung up in the cactus.
Okay, they're all high ground.
Okay, so they took you off high ground,
Dead.
but you guys kind of got scattered. And that's where communication kind of comes into play. Both healers are down. The tanks are trying desperately to hold it. My guess is they're going to take this point just based off of the fact that you guys got so scattered. And
Did you keep them busy?
I died.
alright, so Reinhardt and 2 healers here. Oh, soldier came back. He's ulting. You're speed boosting the soldier. That's good. That speed boost can be a really deadly weapon to combo with like a 76 ult, a Roadhog ult. It can be good to even combo with like a Reinhardt ult if he gets a bunch of people, but they're kind of spread out just to get everybody in a position to take advantage of it. So that was good. That's a good use of the speed boost. Ooh, we very I gotta be careful of that Roadhog hook. You got lucky there. Alright, good job buying some space from the Genji. Right now, nobody's really taking advantage of your aura. I'd probably be up top trying to help those guys. Because right now you were kind of standing in an awkward position where nobody was really benefiting from you. You gotta see, especially now with the new Lucio changes, you gotta kind of stick around people more. I know before you could get away without doing that and still be effective. So right now you're holding the point. Looks like they're trying to push from the ult.
Chill, bro. Chill.
Good boop there. That probably saved your teammate. Yeah, if you have the opportunity to boop a Roadhog that hooks one of your teammates, do it, because that's going to throw off an insta-kill. Big time. And that was very good.
Lucio ult. Soldier.
Okay, Lucio ulted. Your team called for it.
Soldier behind, he's on top right.
I'm honestly not sure if you really needed to, though. I know your team called for it, so that's probably why you did it.
I'm dead, guys.
Yeah, I think your team kind of preemptively had you do that. You know, like I was saying before, Lucio's ult, it defends against other teams' ult, so you probably should have waited for that 76 to ult. I don't think anybody was ulting at the time. I think they were just kind of getting nervous.
Okay, then I'm gonna.
And then the enemy 76, he just waited for your health, your bonus health to dissipate. Okay, so okay, D.Va switched to Winston. That's good. That was one of the tanks that I would have encouraged. Would have been nice if they did it a little earlier, but oh well. Better late than never.
6 seconds.
And I did notice too that D.Va did use her ult before switching, so it's not like she wasted an ult or something. Okay, soldier's in trouble. You're trying to help him out, keep him alive a little bit.
Switching to
Oh,
Sarah.
that's good.
Try to bubble when you get hooked.
Holy fuck, that Genji's so annoying.
Oh,
But he's playing well.
soldier's really struggling on that Genji.
Better 400,
Genji's a
better
tough target though, so they're, oh boy, D.Va's coming.
Watch out, hook.
I don't know why the Reinhardt didn't just block it though. That's interesting. Zarya's protecting you, that's good. You're living very dangerously by just living in front of that Roadhog. That's a positioning mistake. You haven't made a ton of positioning mistakes, but that was one of them. You got lucky though. I don't think he had his hook. I think his hook was on cooldown, and maybe you saw him throw a hook and I just didn't notice it, and that's why you were there. Because I'll do that too. I'll kind of harass a Roadhog if I know he doesn't have his hook. But there it is, and you paid. Granted, I think he was hunting you at that point.
I don't want to play Reinhardt.
Oh, let's stop here. Let's look at your stats for a moment. So the Mercy's out healing you. That's okay. That's understandable. Waiting for the YouTube thing to disappear. Okay, so the objective time. I'd like to see that a lot higher. I personally feel a Lucio should be gold on objective time for these type of maps most of the time. You know, sometimes it might depend what comp, and that was really unfortunate that you got picked so fast. So luckily, it looks like the team's waiting for you.
Oh, sorry.
Or are they?
Don't let them
No,
push
they're
it far.
not. So right now you guys are a little bit staggered, but you're Lucio, so you can catch up. The problem is you're about to walk right into another hook. Okay, he threw it.
Kill him.
So now you can dive on the Roadhog.
Use Lucio.
Yeah, you're living in front of this Roadhog, and that's a problem. You gotta keep your distance from Roadhog. There's two heroes. There's specifically two heroes you really have to play keep away from. That's Roadhogs and Reinhardts. I mean, there's other heroes at times you have to play keep away from, but those two you really have to.
Nice. Heal me on Farah.
I don't know if that was a good break it down. Oh boy. Yeah, well,
Switch to me.
your reaction was a little slow to it. I think you were just looking for it rather than just trying to get away. When I know a diva's about to blow herself up, I try to just get around a corner before I look at it, or ask the team to communicate where it is. You know, a lot of times the team just communicating is gonna help. I was gonna say that break it down probably a little preemptive. You probably could have got away with not doing it when you did it, waiting a little bit, because I don't think your team really benefited from it.
Go May.
I don't know who was really around to get that.
Keep contesting.
Looks like your team's going dive comp, which is good. I always start at this point in the game. I'm screaming for my team to go dive, if they can, if they're not sitting on an ult or something. So it looks like your team's doing that. Genji's gonna be a problem.
I'm getting one-shotted every time.
Oh, you had the right idea,
I'm good right now.
but you jumped up too soon. You had the right idea, though. I think you got a little too cute for yourself. But I like the thought. It's the thought. Usually, it's the thought that counts, and I like that thought. But I think you got a little too cute for yourself. I'm actually a little surprised that Diva had her ult so fast. But that kind of happens in those late game skirmishes. People build their ults really fast. So we're going into overtime now. Let's see what you run in overtime. I see somebody's going Zenyatta. I don't like that idea.
Go good.
A Zenyatta and a Lucio, I usually like to discourage, but let's see what you guys do here. Because right now you're at a slight time disadvantage. They got a 34 seconds more than you do, half a minute basically.
You can't go a death ball.
That's essentially an extra push that they're gonna get. In terms of if you want to look at it in a time sense, that's an extra push. So right now you guys have no tanks, you have a Bastion. Like, what is going on with this comp? Let's talk about this for a second. So let's assume this guy goes Reinhardt. Like, you guys have terrible healing right now. Okay, if you guys are going for the cheesy Bastion overtime comp, what I would expect to see is either an Orisa or a Reinhardt. So what they're thinking, just to try to explain this for everybody, what they're thinking is they can get the Discord damage from the Zenyatta, and he'll be able to heal the diving Genji and the diving Pharah. Usually you want a Mercy on the Pharah, but Zenyatta can work as long as she kind of plays... Like, on a scale of 100 to 0 on an aggressive level, a Pharah's got to play at about a 70 to a 50. Somewhere in there if she's getting the Zenyatta healing. And the Zenyatta's got to be focusing on that Pharah, keeping her alive. But the Zenyatta's also really good at healing the Genji. So we would need him to be Rein for this to work, and we would need the Lucio to switch, in my opinion. I would say Mercy for the res. Anna could work if your aim is top notch. So yeah, let's see what we can get here.
2 tanks now. Sorry on Winston, preferably.
Yeah.
Or maybe a Ryan. At least
Okay, so now the Bastion switched, and
Sorry.
he switched to Zarya. He went Ryan and then he went Zarya.
Kuku, Muxu, can you go Winston? Nice.
Winston, right.
Let's dive them when the payload gets around the corner. They have a Genji also.
Okay, I really don't like this comp. The Winston's gonna
Discard on the
be
Genji.
taking. What are we doing
Genji
here?
1 HP.
On the Discord on the Diva. How many
All right, that didn't work that time, and it took you a little longer that time to get there.
Is
Um,
it down?
I can put the hammer up on you. Alright, hammer up on you.
look, okay, right now, oh, Winston picks the Mercy. That's good.
Hammer on the soldiers.
Let's get the
On the
Roadhog.
Discord.
Okay, see, like right here, I'd say bad position. Although you got into a really good position shortly after I called you out on it, so I think you noticed that.
They got
But you know, playing Lucio, it's a game of how high can you keep the number. You know, the second you see it at 0, or basically non-existent because it doesn't say 0, if you don't know a good reason for why that is, you should be moving immediately to where your team is. There are very few occasions I can think of where it could be 0 and you could still be doing work and it can still be acceptable. You know, maybe there's a guy that's trying to retreat and you can speed boost and chase him down and finish him off, but nobody else is following you. Like, you know, that's one situation I can think of off the top of my head. But make sure you're keeping that number at around 2 to 3 at most times. I actually wish that was a stat for Lucio. Like what is your average aura affecting for your team? Kind of like if you think about Zarya and what her average charge is. I wish Lucio had a stat for that. It'd be interesting to see what people get. So right now, okay, it's overtime. The clock's ticked down. Your team's got to be glued to the card at this point. And this is where I don't like your team comp, because your team comp's kind of divey, which puts more pressure on a Zenyatta, on a Lucio, on a Zarya to survive on this point, because Pharah's going to be in the air. See, now you're off the point, which is not good.
You on the payload, guys.
Nice.
Alright, good. So I'd be okay with keeping the Winston, but I'd be more comfortable with DPS characters that are gonna stick to the point. See, like I'd be like Zarya should be camped on that point at all times, and so should you. So I'm a little nervous when I see you getting away from it, and when I see Zarya with you away from it. But luckily, you also have a Zenyatta who's gonna be camped on that point, and yeah, see, that's exactly what happened. You had too many guys that were divey and not enough people that could just live on the cart. And you guys could have got that further. You guys easily could have got that further. I think in a situation like that, if they're gonna run the Zenyatta, you switching off of Lucio to something else would have probably benefited the team more, because I think you guys kind of lacked healing, especially for the kind of comp you were running. I would have been on the microphone trying to encourage these DPSs to switch, though. The DPSs really threw that overtime. Not saying that they weren't getting picks for what they were doing, but it's not what the team needed at the time. The situations didn't call for it. You know, maybe you keep one of them, but I would have encouraged both of them to switch if it were me personally. Or maybe you keep them for the first minute, but then once it starts getting to overtime, you guys start really playing heroes that have to camp the point, you know, something like that. Although I would have just encouraged people that really ride the cart the whole way through, but I don't like a lot of mid-game switching, because then you really set yourself back on all charges and stuff like that. So what do we got here? Let me see if I can rewind this just a little bit. I should have did this before, shouldn't I? So we have Soldier, Pharah, Reinhardt, Lucio. I think that's a Zenyatta diving down, I think. And I can't tell who that is at the bottom.
I fell down.
And I wish you'd show me the team comp. Oh, okay, that's Diva. Okay, so what do we...
Discard on Diva, discard on Diva.
Jesus.
That Diva's really overextended and melting right now.
Oh, thank
And nobody can do anything about it either. Okay, well, I mean, the Zenyatta kind of can, but... Alright, now you dive down, you drop, but nobody else did. You should be on the microphone telling everybody, get down on the point, get down on the choke, drop, drop, drop.
I can't get to you right now. Just got on the Diva.
Keep them busy.
You should be amping it up right now. Okay. Slightly late on it, but... I'd have been, if it were me, I'd have been watching that cooldown, waiting for the or just spamming the button until it would let me. Now you should be able to hold this for a little bit. Let's see how. Okay, see, you kind of got away from the wall riding. You should have stuck to the. Oh boy, Reinhardt just threw. Reinhardt's got to be a little bit more careful than that. But had you have stuck to the wall riding, I think you could have held that point a little bit longer. Okay, we just switched to Anna. I'm okay with that switch just because I think we still got the Zenyatta, don't we?
I got them already.
Alright, let's see what we get from you as an Anna. But yeah, stick to the wall riding, be hard to hit. Just all you had to do there was survive. I would have put the speed boost on because you were at full health. That was a good biotic grenade there. That will most likely counter the Zenyatta ult. I mean, it will counter it, but I'm just seeing if...
Come on.
Okay, yeah, no, that was very good. Yeah, I actually think that bionic grenade just won you the game. So that was excellent. Alright, since that's the end of the game, let's rewind just a little bit here. Okay, so you're holding it by yourself. You're at full health right here. Right? Your health is full. You're about to get amp it up again. You have your boop. So what I'd be doing right now is sticking to this wall right here. Just wall ride on speed boost and be really hard to hit. And the second you notice any of these guys down here looking at you, boop them. Boop them away from you. And as soon as they start shooting at you, switch back to your heal and amp it up. And you're going to live a lot longer. You got away from that, though, and you found yourself down here and you died instantly.
If you can discard the Genji, I can get him easily.
Well, maybe not instantly, but pretty darn quick. So... I'd say as a Lucio, that was probably your biggest mistake of the game as a Lucio. I didn't see you make any super bad mistakes that were like game-changing other than that one, but you saved it. You saved it by switching to Anna and playing a perfect bionic grenade. That was as good of a grenade as you could hope for. Let's see what play of the game gets here.
No, you gotta stay low.
What did your soldier do? He ults from the top. Oh, he countered two ults there.
Nice discords and nice calls, by the way. That was very important.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good. Oh, that was right at the end of the game, too. And nobody gets a card. Isn't that fantastic? So, alright, just to recap, a couple of the major things that I noticed. I'm going to do this in yellow this time. So, number one, your break it downs. Number one, watch out for your break it downs. I know it can be a bad habit sometimes to do it when you're in a graviton. Kind of assess the situation a little bit. Make sure you got people in your line of sight to do it. Make sure if you are going to do it to kind of initiate an attack, which is completely fine to do, make sure your team's all clumped up with you so that when you speed boost, they can all take advantage of it. And then number two, you're actually... oops, I just Oh well. Number 2, wall ride. That's supposed to be an L. Wall ride. There's certain times that I think you could have made some escapes or lasted a little bit longer if you stuck to wall riding. You were good in certain cases. Like I really liked when you scouted at the spawn and when you were booping people off of the high ground at the first point when you were attacking. Those were some really slick wall rides. I would just like to see more wall riding when you're trying to do more survivability. You did good wall riding, trying to get back to your team, picking up that little extra speed boost to get back to be more effective in the game. So I did really like that. And that's really about it. I guess the only other thing I'd say, and I feel like I'm being a little nitpicky when I say this, but your amp it up. There were times I personally would have liked to have seen it a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker, and I felt you were a little late. But when I say a little late, we're talking literally seconds, 1 to 2, maybe 3 seconds. You know, obviously I didn't time it, but it didn't. It felt like me and you would have been on a pretty close to the same page, but I think I would have been looking for things just a little bit quicker. Like I'll give you one example that comes to mind. When you guys were, I can't remember if it was the overtime or your first run on defense. I think it was your first run on defense when you guys were kind of split up after you got the team wipe and half your team wanted to hold the choke and the other half wanted to hold the high ground. And it was you and the Reinhardt, and the Reinhardt was kind of low, and your amp it up just came available, and I was waiting for you to hit it, and it took you like 2 or 3 seconds after you had it, and then you hit it. And I would have liked to have seen that a little bit quicker. So just kind of watch out for that sort of a thing. Always be using it. Always keep that thing going. I spam that button. As soon as I know I'm on like a 3, 2, 1 for when it's about to be off of its cooldown, you'll just hear me going like that with my keyboard. Like I'm ready to go with that thing when I need it. And in that would have been a case where I would have needed it and I would have been ready to go and just spamming the ever-loving crap out of my keyboard. But aside from that, I think you're a pretty good Lucio. I didn't see any real major problems other than a couple. So I'd say keep it going. The problem with Lucio is it's a hard class to carry, but it's such a vital class that as long as you communicate with your team, I think that'll be another big thing for you, is if you communicated a little bit more. I heard you a few times. I would have liked to have heard it a little bit more. And that's always a big thing with Lucio. You got to communicate with your team, kind of organize them, get them going, keep the people in your aura, focus on that maybe just a little bit more, and I think you'll be set to go. But I think you're a pretty good Lucio. You're in Diamond. I think you can get a little bit higher playing the way that you play, but I think your skill level with the Lucio's got you right about where you deserve to be with your SR. I think you get a little bit higher though, with the way that you're playing. But yeah, I wish you a lot of luck, and thank you everybody for watching episode 2 of this. Probably get out another episode in a day or two. Thank you all for watching, and have a good weekend.